I'm hungry. How about you?
After the stuff I've been researching, I'm not hungry at all, and I don't say that very often.
You have to admit that some of the stuff you might try.
A very small number of them.
Okay.
Just so you're already off the loop.
This
is the Geekish podcast,
that's how I roll.
and we are talking about weird foods this week. Some of the strangest foods you've ever had, some of the strangest foods that exist in the world, and things I can't believe that people would put in their mouth. And we're actually joined by a guest this week. Over here we got Maddie.
What's up, y'all?
He's a food connoisseur like us.
Not really.
No.
And I'm really hysterical laughing because I can see what's on Bino's screen, and I'm like, what on earth are you people looking at?
This is just a random search. You can find all kinds of sites where people try and find some of the weirdest foods from around the world. There's things that in every country and every region that are very normal to eat, but you go across an ocean or two, and then it's absolutely terrifying. Why would somebody do that?
Yeah.
I mean, go explain to somebody on another part of the planet all about hot dogs.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, it's not even that. You just go down to the south and, get some gator nuggets or something, and some people look at you a little bit different. So, and the whole reason that Maddie's here is because we kind of talked about something like this, I don't know, 2 years ago, and you felt left out because even though you say you don't, you do like to eat. You've eaten quite a bit with us, so we decided to bring you back.
Yeah. It's one of those things I do to survive.
Yeah. Right. I've eaten with you guys. Yeah, that's it. Yes, we've eaten many meals together. That's true.
But before we get to some of the things that are really, really strange around the world, what are some of the weirdest things you've ever eaten? I'll start with Derek.
I thought you were gonna do a trigger warning, like, hey, we're gonna be talking about some strange foods that might be kind of gross.
There are some words that are acceptable to say on primetime television, but they might be a little disturbing in the order they show up in. Just saying.
Well, here's the thing: is like I'm trying to, I've been trying to think of like, I guess, nothing really strange. I grew up in a hunting family, so I've had wild game, I've had bear, I've had elk, I've had moose, I've had rabbit, pigeon, squirrel. So I've had it all on that aspect. Squirrel? Yeah, dude, I have.
How does squirrel taste?
It's a little greasy.
Yeah, it's very fatty.
It's greasy. Gamey and greasy. It's not. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not very good.
I would recommend eating a squirrel if the apocalypse does happen and you're surviving in the wasteland.
Right,
that's all there is to eat.
Yeah, total survival food.
Even that, I feel like you'd use squirrels as bait for real food, though, right?
Depending, I mean, if you want to get that mutant deer with two heads, then yeah, go for it.
That'll last us through winter.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, I mean, and I picture we've eaten a lot of weird foods that I don't keep on this list too, but just weird flavor combinations, the Swedish fish Oreos and the random mixtures of flavors and candies and stuff like that. But to me, none of that's weird because it's all just sugar mixed together with some artificial flavors, and it's not really. That'd be like saying, "Oh yeah, Harry Potter's every flavor beans. That's the weirdest food I've ever tasted."
If you go the mixing route, like one thing that I've talked about before, and people always give me a weird look that is really good. If you don't think about it, is you take a bite of like a Chips Ahoy cookie, and then you take a bite of a carrot. And for some reason, those two flavors mixed in your mouth is just delicious. Sounds weird, I know.
Chips Ahoy and a carrot?
Yeah. And then, I have...
I have carrots? I was going to say,
I
thought he didn't eat vegetables.
I do sometimes. And then I have this lovely drink here that keeps fading in and out. There we go. The Super Fast Jellyfish. It is a pineapple sour with lactose, made right here in Texas, and it's not milky. It doesn't. I think they just put lactose in it. I don't think it's actually milk. I don't know what it is.
I don't get it.
I just want to throw this out there. Like, I know everybody has their own thing, but there are so many words you threw into the description of that beer that should not go in with a beer.
What are you drinking? Jellyfish.
Jellyfish.
Milky jelly lactose sour beer.
That sounds.
Well, I mean,
disgusting.
you've had some interesting beers too. Both of you have actually.
Yeah, I've had some. I always get suckered in because there's a couple breweries around here that have the most amazing names and packaging for their beers, and they almost all end up being New England IPAs, which I'm not a big fan of. I'm like, oh, sweet, key lime pie.
Mm-hmm.
This is terrible, but it smells delicious. Oh, hey, look, orange creamsicle. Yup. This is terrible. And I get suckered in over and over again. I just have to find myself that these are not my style, but I appreciate what people can do with those flavors. And it's just that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one because you do find those that they have the great name, like, oh, that sounds fantastic. But then when you try it, it's like absolutely awful.
Mm-hmm.
When I think that's also how they get you too. Is it's the whole they try to trigger your taste with the smell because you can smell it. You're like, that smells great, and then you actually take a sip and you're like, it's beer. That's all it is. But Maddie, since you're the guest and you're from the East Coast, forget about it. I'm sure you've had a lot of different foods.
I have. But, like you, from, just from the hunting standpoint, I've had things that most people probably haven't had, like rattlesnake. I've eaten rattlesnake, and that's okay. It tastes like chicken. Actually, rattlesnake tastes like alligator, so of course I've had alligator. And alligator actually tastes more like the pond water. So people say it tastes like chicken. In my opinion, it has a texture like chicken. It looks like chicken, but when you're tasting it, it actually tastes like pond water.
I've only had gator deep fried, so.
Yeah, I had gator nuggets when I was like 12 in Florida, and that was what it tasted like. It tasted like a really chewy piece of chicken that somebody had dropped in some pond water.
Pond water, yeah. It's got definitely. And then, of course, us living out here in the West, I've of course had the Rocky Mountain oysters, which actually don't taste that bad, but it's just wrapping your mind around what you're eating is really.
That's a much better description. Well, they didn't taste like I expected them to.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, and for the people that might be listening that don't know what Rocky Mountain oysters are, they're testicles.
Bull cojones.
Bull cojones. Yeah, and they're deep fried, so they kind of, they're okay. But I'd say what's weird, and I would say like more of a delicacy is something we would eat back east, which I will never eat again after watching, if you've seen this weekend or this past week, My Octopus Teacher. It's on Netflix.
What? My Octopus
We
Teacher.
eat octopus and squid all the time in New York, and even here we've been buying it. I will never eat it again after watching that documentary.
Why?
Is there a shareable reason?
You should watch the documentary.
Okay, fair enough.
It's amazing.
One more reason to not eat seafood on Netflix
No, I didn't say that. Eat all the fish you want. Fish and lobster. Yeah, go for it. No, shrimp.
Well, the thing is, you're like me. You love calamari. So is calamari off the table now?
I don't know, but octopus certainly is. I'll have to talk to the wife about calamari because I don't know. I love it. She loves it. But, watching this octopus documentary was pretty incredible.
Huh.
Okay.
So some of the oddest things I've had, I had gator nuggets on that list, which could be the same thing. I had Rocky Mountain oysters. I have had haggis before, which
you haven't had proper haggis.
Oh yeah, it was proper haggis.
What?
Yeah, remember they had it Taste of Fort Collins a few years back.
No, I don't, because all I know is like there's a whole thing about America can't get proper haggis because it's illegal. So
well, as proper as we're going to get it around here, but it was full of stomachs and organs and all kinds of stuff, and it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be, but I wouldn't go out of my way to ever eat it again. And I have had Vegemite too. That was the first thing we ate when we went to Australia a few years back, and it was
okay.
Not good, but not as bad as I thought it could be.
I've had Vegemite as well.
I was going to say I've had Vegemite, and I was disappointed.
Yeah, you expect a lot more out of it. And you're like, oh, it's like something I wiped off of something I wanted to eat.
And again, with most of this food too, is it's regional. It's one of those ones where you talk to somebody from Europe about Rocky Mountain oysters, and they'll be like, "What?" But then you talk to that same person about haggis, and they're all about it, and you're like, "What?" I mean, I'm not saying we're all about Rocky Mountain oysters because it's still weird to us, but okay, maybe like chicken fried steak. I don't know. I mean,
I did see a chicken fried steak made a lot of lists around the world of strange foods because people couldn't fathom why you would deep fry steak.
Well, and that it's
Fair
called
point.
chicken fried steak, and it's not chicken, and it's smothered in gravy. It's delicious, and now I want some.
I like fried chicken personally.
Not chicken fried octopus, though.
Nope, done with that.
So there's some other regional ones that I've heard about. I've never done, but apparently putting peanuts with a T, peanuts in Coke is a thing.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It doesn't sound like somebody can want to do, and I don't know why you need to take one of the most unhealthy drinks on earth and then add a bunch of salt into it, but that's apparently a thing.
It's a southern thing, right?
Wait, so
Yeah,
you're
and-
eating the peanuts really that are soaked in Coca-Cola, or are you drinking the Coca-Cola that has peanuts soaked
You're
in
drinking the Coca-Cola that has peanuts, and I think you have an added bonus afterwards.
And then afterwards, you get soggy peanuts.
it? Thanks to this.
Well, and that's just like the thing who people, or the stuff that when people put salt and pepper on like watermelon and cantaloupe. I grew up with that, not myself. My grandma and my dad did it because they grew up in the Midwest, and that's what they did. And I just was like, why?
Salting watermelon. Weird.
Well, back east, one of the big things we do is put prosciutto on watermelon or melon or cantaloupe. And prosciutto is, you would maybe look at it and say it's bacon. Sorry for those of you, I'll say it. It's prosciutto.
Oh, you mean prosciutto?
Yeah. So, which is like a bacon.
The finely sliced meat.
Very finely, and the good. So they put it because you get the savory, you get the salt and savory, and the sweet at the same time. It's actually fantastic.
Really? See, I would try that.
It's really
it
good.
Sounds odd.
It's
but
amazing.
I mean, I've had chocolate covered bacon that was amazing.
But you won't try bacon wrapped shrimp.
We've been over this before. My deal with seafood is not the taste; it is the mental block created by a childhood of horrors.
Yeah.
I do love me some pork rinds.
Yeah, those are.
You explain it's fried up animal skin and people get weirded out, but I can't get enough of them. I can't get myself into pickled pig's feet though. The fact you can buy a jar of those at a market kind of creeps me out.
I was gonna say I don't feel like those are as common as they used to be because I remember you'd go into a store and you'd be able to see those everywhere, and now it's like I don't remember the last time I saw a jar of those.
They're a big thing back east. My dad likes them, and I'll see it's disgusting, and I'll get them in a jar, and he sits there and he's like he just gnawing between the knuckles trying to get the meat. It's disgusting.
How bad does it smell? As bad as it looks?
It doesn't smell at all because it's just typically cold, like it's pickled.
Yeah,
so
it
it's
just
cold. So
smells
you
salty,
don't really
brainy.
smell it. It's really it's just ham. But you're
Yeah,
eating
but-
it off the foot. It's pretty disgusting. There's a lot wrong with people.
I just got it.
That's what-
Oh my!
I can't, as much as I know brining things is very common, and I like a lot of things that are salty, but people that can just drink pickle water.
Pickle juice.
Yeah.
Sweet pickle juice.
Oh,
yeah.
man, that's just.
Sweet pickles. But you do that with the jalapenos, don't you?
I don't drink the juice. I
You
love the
don't?
jalapenos, but I don't drink the juice. I'll pour some of it on some nachos or something like that, but I don't.
Oh, soggy nachos! Come on.
Yeah, you. Nothing wrong with soggy nachos.
Yeah, there is.
Oh my god. Where people are probably like, when are they going to get to the weird food?
You know what makes nachos soggy? Cheese.
Not if it's done right.
If it's on there long enough, that's true.
Okay, so we'll get to some of the really, really weird things because this is all just like child's play so far, right?
I suppose.
All right, do you want me to start with some of the ones I've discovered so far?
I'm still picturing Maddie's dad eating the pig's feet between the knuckles and just like.
Yeah,
you
gnawing
were
on
going to be
it.
begging your brain to go back to the pig
Well,
knuckles.
and I'm just saying, like, maybe next time he's in Colorado, maybe you guys should get him over there and do an ASMR of him eating a pig's foot.
Oh yeah, I can just get them online right now, probably, and have them do it. Dad, bust out a jar of pig's feet. Oh yeah, pig's feet.
They just have it on hand too.
Oh, I'm sure it's
I'm
in his
halfway
refrigerator.
through this one already.
Oh, anyway, all right.
So I'm probably going to pronounce some of these wrong too because I also didn't do enough research to actually look up the pronunciation of some foods. But we'll just throw that out there. If I get something wrong, just throw the comments that you can say I'm an idiot and tell me how to really say it. But shirako from Japan. In Japanese, this means white children, but it refers to the sperm sacs of either cod, anglerfish, or pufferfish. And it looks like white blobs of goo or miniature brains that they're said to have a sweet custardy taste.
Wow, you jumped right into it. I thought we were gonna, start with like chicken feet or tripe, but no, you went.
Yeah, see, there's no more explanation needed. That's like, one, why would you want that? Two, who was the first person that thought this was a good idea?
Yeah.
That goes back to, the one thing that I think we originally stated in the first one was who looked at a cow and went, you know what? I'm going to milk that and I'm going to drink it. Or, leaving the milk out.
I'm gonna milk that.
Yeah, leaving the milk out and it's all curdled. And they're like, you know what? I bet that tastes good.
I
on a
tell
piece of
you
bread."
what.
Like, it goes back to the who thought that would be good. Oh my. Well, you jumped right over.
I went for some of the worst of the worst. The list of stuff on here, there's not one of these that I would step in the same room as. I'm pretty sure.
That first one's pretty rough.
Mm-hmm. Well, how about balut? We were almost talking about this earlier. It's from the Philippines, and it's a fertilized duck egg. So the partially developed embryo is then boiled and you eat it like that.
So,
You've had that?
no. So my dad, of course, eats a lot of messed up stuff, right? Like so where he worked in Brooklyn, he had a buddy, and I think his friend was either Puerto Rican or Cuban, and they were sitting at the lunch table, and he busts out an egg, and thinking like nope, he cracked that thing open, and there was a fertilized chicken in it, and he started eating it. My dad will freak out. Like when people are eating bad things, he's just
this
he
comes
goes
from Mr.
nuts.
Pig's feet.
Exactly right. And he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like eating my dad, he's like, it was just absolutely disgusting watching this guy eat it, but hey, it's a delicacy somewhere.
Yeah. From Cambodia, we have crispy tarantulas.
Yeah.
I would try that one. I would pay you money to try that one.
You couldn't pay me enough money.
Spiders.
Yeah,
If somebody came up to you and said, "I will give you $1 million to eat half of this,"
He would do
you would
it.
do it.
He
You
would
would do
do
it
it.
in a heartbeat.
He would do it.
Think of all the Transformers you could buy with that money.
All the Transformers. Because that's where he's thinking.
How big a tarantula would it? Because the pictures I'm talking about, they had platefuls of these things.
I said a half of one. A normal sized tarantula.
Like rosy-sized tarantula or like dinner plate bird-eating sized tarantula from Australia?
So I've heard, when you fry the tarantulas, they get really crispy and you probably don't taste like anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fact of wrapping your brain around what you're eating, I think.
Yeah.
I would probably do that. No money.
I tried to find a cheat around it where I could like put it in a
didn't we
in
look
a
on
food ninja and see if I
Didn't
could put it
we-
in a smoothie
Yeah.
or something.
Didn't we find something on Amazon?
We were gonna
where-
order chocolate covered ones.
That's what it was. Yeah.
But
And by we, he means he. I'll film you eating all the chocolate spiders you want. I'm not eating a chocolate spider.
Well, okay, would you rather eat a chocolate or a chocolate tarantula or a crispy tarantula, or would you rather eat tuna eyeballs, which they eat in Japan? And apparently, it's rather tame. It's tasting pretty similar to squid or octopus, and it's none of the gunk that you normally associate with slicing up eyeballs. So you just gotta, like when you go to the thing and they give you a thing of meat in a styrofoam thing, it's just two eyes looking at you from the tuna.
I'm perfectly fine going and eating some grass from the front yard and chewing some bark off a tree. Like, you know what? I've led a privileged enough life to know that I could not do that even if my life depended on it.
Well, then we got this one, which I think would be right up Maddie's dad's alley. It's called Kash. It's from the Middle East, East Europe, and Turkey. And I think we kind of touched on this one last time. It's a pretty gruesome little dish made up of stewed cow's feet and head. It was once a winter comfort food, but it's now considered a delicacy. And if you look at it, it's just like cow skulls with like some flesh on it, boiled in a broth, and
So again, going back again when I was a kid. So you laugh, but all right. So my mom's side, we're Sicilian, right? And my grandfather used to have my grandmother make lamb's head. The whole thing. And so they would throw a lamb's head in a pot of water and then boil it, and he would eat like the jaw and everything. Just eat the whole head. And yeah, they would. My grandmother would give me the jaw, and I'd bring it home. My mom would be like, "Get that stupid thing out of here!" Blow a gasket.
why would she give you the jaw? Is it good luck or something?
I wanted them. I was like, "Oh, look, bones, teeth, whatever." That was cool. I was a kid.
See, I feel like part of my issue with seafood might fall into these other categories as well. I think what the issue might be is I can't eat food that still looks like what it looked like in the wild. Like if you give me a chicken that still had like its head sitting on a plate, like carve off some meat, I'd be like,
Yeah.
I can't.
So did you ever try it, Maddie?
No, my mom wouldn't let me.
Did
Yeah.
she have a reason?
Probably just because it was eating a head. But that's just how stupid we are as a society, right? You're like, oh, we can eat the rest of it. Just don't eat the head.
I'm not touching the face.
What about the
give me some more of that
balls,
juicy butt.
Rocky Mountain oysters, go for it.
Well, Bino, go for it.
I was gonna say my next one on the list is from Canada, so maybe somewhere since there's East Coast, Canada. Close.
close.
No.
It's close. It's close.
East Coast.
How about jellied moose nose?
That's what I said. That's just
Boiling up moose noses with onions and spices, removing all the hair, boiling it in, then slicing it and covering it with a broth that sets to a jelly.
Nope.
You wouldn't try it?
Nope.
Ugh.
Nose?
I'm going to order you some moose nose with that reaction.
No, dude,
yeah.
I wouldn't try it. No way, man.
Happy Texas. You get moose nose.
I'm sure I could probably find it out here somewhere.
You
What-
find anything in Texas.
Going back to, kind of your duck egg thing, we've talked about this before, and I'm going to bring it up again just because, to me, the concept is interesting, but also very disgusting. But the, century egg,
Oh, yeah.
it's not really 100 years egg, but it's an egg that's preserved in a mixture of clay, ash, and quicklime for a few months. The yolk turns to a dark green or even black and slimy, while the white has turned to a dark brown, translucent jelly. And apparently it smells strongly of sulfur and ammonia, but tastes like a hard-boiled egg.
Everything about this food is telling your body to throw it far, far away.
Right?
And
It's like giving me the
somehow
danger
China then
colors.
But that's the other twist, is if it tastes just like a hard-boiled egg, why go through all of that just for that nasty smell of sulfur and what? Ammonia?
Ammonia.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I can hard boil an egg in about 4 minutes, right?
20. 20. 20. But still, you're not going to wait 100 years or however long that is to eat it. Sounds terrible.
Now this one, there's a chance I could try. Because whales technically aren't fish, right?
They're
mammals.
right? Yeah, but it's still
But in Greenland, the muktuk, they take frozen whale skin and blubber, and then they either eat it raw or they pickle it, and you put a little bit of licorice seasoning on there, and they say it tastes kind of like hazelnuts, but then it's super, super chewy.
Yeah, isn't
Licorice
whale blubber one of their staples too?
Uh-huh, yeah.
So-
yeah.
They've been doing it for years.
Just it warns that you make sure you're not wearing dentures because it's very, very hard to chew the stuff. But I like jerky, so I like pork rinds, so whale skin's not too far off, right?
Pretty close.
Let's fly back over to Japan real quick, because kind of speaking with the seafood one. Maddie, you like seafood, right?
Love seafood.
Okay.
Except octopus anymore. I'm not going back there.
Let's
No
see
more
if you
octopus.
let's see if you eat this one. It's called shiokara, and it's a dish made of pieces of meat taken from a selection of sea creatures, served in a brown viscerous paste of their own salted and fermented viscera, so their own insides, and it's all served raw.
I don't know. Is it just plain fish? It's just saying. It's not saying
Yeah.
what it is.
I mean, yeah, it's just pieces of meat taken from sea creatures that's served in a brown paste of their own salted and fermented insides.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel that's like fish market leftovers.
right. Chum. We call it chum here in the
Like,
United
oh, this is
States.
a delicacy right here, you stupid Americans. Yeah. Give it $50.
And then after that, you can go get yourself a Wasp Cracker, which is exactly like it sounds. It's a biscuit filled with wasps. So it's kind of like a chocolate chip cookie, except instead of chocolate chips, you got wasps.
Well,
And-
maybe we can make some murder hornet crackers next too.
So there you go. Would you try a Wasp Cracker?
I don't think they would have a taste.
I don't think so either. Like,
You know how it's like some people say ants taste like peanut butter or something like that? Like if you eat a lot of ants, like
well, you ask my wife. She says that bees taste like lettuce because she accidentally chewed on when she was a kid.
lettuce. So it's like a lettuce cracker. I'd rather just eat lettuce.
The thing is do wasps still sting you after they're dead?
No,
Like-
they're dead.
All right.
I guess you.
I'm just-
Well, I wonder if they extract. No, you can't extract the venom unless.
Yeah, I was gonna say
they pull the
it's they use specifically digger wasps for these crackers, and I doubt they pull them all off. Or if they do, I mean, heck, they take the pits out of cherries and olives, and they still miss some of those once in a while. If you've never bitten one of those and cracked your tooth on it and
Yeah.
scream in pain, I'm sure they've missed a couple stingers if they take them off.
I was gonna say because they said the digger wasp has a pretty good sting, and like you said, that's what they put in the biscuits. So that would look, I won a prize. Oh, my tongue is swelling.
Yeah. What if you did have that allergy? I wonder if it would still affect you.
I don't know.
look like Will Smith in that movie where his lip is all like
Hitch.
Yeah.
This is one thing that I actually regret not trying, because they sold them like little street vendors had them. You know, like when you go to the fair and you can get the cinnamon, not almond, yeah, almonds.
Oh yeah, cinnamon almonds
For,
for
like-
like festivals and stuff.
Yeah. So in Korea, when I went over there, they had street vendors who had those little funnel things, and they were selling silkworms. They were, boiled and steamed lightly and then seasoned, and they were all over it. And I kept saying, I'm going to try them. I'm going to try them because I was like, at first I thought they were the almonds. I was like, but they don't smell like it. And then I was going to actually get it before I left, but I never got around to it. I don't know if I subconsciously chickened out or, what, but
That would have been me.
so that's one thing I do want to try when I go back over there.
But aren't silkworms like super tiny?
No, these are like fat ones, dude.
Oh.
It was.
I went to the Korean food too. Is you had me try one that was kimchi. Like whoever thought, let's take some cabbage and throw it in the ground and let it rot for a while and then eat it. It's not bad.
I have tried so hard to like kimchi. I've tried it many different times, but I can't.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
not going to go so far and say I like it, but it's okay. And when I mix it with some other stuff, it's okay. I can deal with some of this, but
I think it's maybe because it's cold. I don't know.
Yeah, room temp. I know a lot of people that like kimchi, love it. Mm-hmm. And I've tried, like Derek, I've tried to like it, and I just, nope.
All right, so I've got the one more on my list that might just take the cake. It is called the Dragon in the Flame of Desire. This one comes from China, and it's a little bit of an elaborate name, but basically it's a certain restaurant in Beijing's most famous dish, and it is a yak's male parts roasted and served in elaborate fashion on a large platter.
Dragon in the fire.
So I figure we need to get a platter. You get a nice Dragon in the Flame of Desire, lay that out with some Rocky Mountain oysters, get the whole twig and berries, and like
Twigs and berries. Who thinks of this stuff?
I don't know. And I can understand like long ago places when civilizations that were a little further back and they needed all that food. Hey, we got to use everything. We got to use everything on here. But how do these things become delicacies? At what point are they like, yep, that right there, that's what I'm serving the family for Sunday dinner?
Well, probably a lot of cultures think that maybe gives you some kind of like virility. Like this makes you powerful. This makes you more of a man because you're eating something else's man parts.
I mean, that's where a lot of those type of things come from. So yeah. Well,
A lot of things to unpack there.
You saying like, who looked at that and thought that was good? Like, I have a few more, but I'll wrap it up with a couple of these. Like the bird nest soup from Southeast Asia. It's an Asian delicacy that's made from the nest of the swiftlet bird, who instead of collecting twigs for its bed, it builds it out of its own gummy saliva, which goes hard when exposed to air. Usually it's built up high on cliff faces, and then harvesting them is dangerous business, and many people die each year getting this stuff. So who looked at bird vomit nest and went, but that's pretty good.
Bird spit soup.
One thing that I've never grasped, and I don't understand it, is the whole tartare.
Just not cooking things?
Like raw.
Yeah. Like
I can't handle raw meat. Like,
I can handle like medium, but like medium rare is kind of where I draw the line at some stuff. Prime rib, it's okay, but tartare, like seeing people just getting in a steak that's been cooked for like 30 seconds on each side is
it's still making noises and moving.
Yeah,
Can't handle that.
Going back to my mom, when we were kids, she'd be making meatballs with what we just simply call chopped meat, right? Or hamburger, is depending on where you live. And she'd be making meatballs, and she would just like every once in a while pop some raw meat in her mouth.
Shut up.
Honest, she's probably doing it right now.
While your dad's eating a pig's foot.
I do that with dough. Raw cookie dough, raw roll dough. I could eat that stuff like candy.
You like that? Those we were talking about that the other day, Julie and I. Those mochi balls.
Mochi.
Oh yeah,
I
mochi.
love
They're like balls of dough and ice cream.
Well, it's
right?
ice cream and like rice paper.
It's like a rice pastry that says almost like it looks like Play-Doh.
Tastes like Play-Doh.
It tastes great.
The right kind of Play-Doh is delicious. Okay.
Maddie, would you ever try a guinea pig?
God, no.
Apparently,
No.
it tastes just like rabbit.
Well, I'm sure it does. I mean, if you think about it, we pick and choose what we want to eat. Like the French eat horse all the time. Like you can get horse meat, and you say, "Oh, would you eat a horse?" You'd be like, "No." It's like because we think of everything as domesticated. We domesticate animals, and we think, "Oh no, I'm not eating that." But go to other cultures like live markets where they serve cat. Think I'd ever eat a cat? No. Dog? No. But we think it's silly, but they think we're nuts for eating pigs. I mean, it's just cultures are different. That's why I'm just going vegan. All
right,
veggies.
so I know we gotta wrap this up. You guys both like cheese,
Most of them.
right? I've we've had a few get-togethers where there's been a platter of cheese that's out and it goes relatively quick.
It's because we're fancy.
What about having like and I bring this up because Maddie, you're from the East Coast. You have some Sicilian roots. This is from Italy. It is the casu marzu. It is also known as maggot cheese. It's a traditional dish.
No.
It's a traditional dish in sheep's milk cheese, and it's famous for containing live insect larvae.
No. I would
And apparently the little maggots enhance the flavor. So I was waiting for you to go like, well, my grandmother.
Yeah. Grandma eats that all the time.
Hasn't anybody watched Alien before? You don't eat small bugs, egg sex.
It's true. I don't like goat cheese as it is, goat or whatever, the lambs or what. I don't like goat milk. I don't like that stuff. So the cheese tastes pretty awful. Like feta cheese, Greek like feta cheese is good, but like other kind of goat cheeses, I just don't do. It's like too weird.
I don't dislike goat cheese, but I would rather have not goat cheese most of the time.
Not goat cheese.
Is this why you don't like octopus? There's a dish on here called sanakiji or something like that from South Korea. And it's a dish that involves hacking the tentacles off of baby octopus and then serving them up to the customer still wriggling.
I saw a video about that.
So, no. But 2 years ago,
What's
when
that,
Julie and
a
I were
list?
in California, and we were at a sushi bar, and someone got served shrimp or prawns that were still like in the dish, they're just kind of like doing this in the dish, and like you kind of break them apart and eat them. It's kind of cruel. I don't know.
Well, I know that some seafood, like the octopus and everything, if you put that are dead, if you put like teriyaki sauce on it, something will like the salt in it will trigger it to
start moving.
wriggle.
Same with the shrimp. Yeah, yeah.
Right, and that's why people like there's I forget what the live octopus one is, where they put that tiny octopus in their mouth and they have to eat it, but you have to make sure you chew really good because people have died. Because on the way down, it's like, nope.
If I'm going, I'm taking you with me, stupid human.
Yep. Yeah. Watch my octopus teacher. You'll never eat octopus again. And it was one of my favorite things up until last weekend. Shame.
Didn't we have it at your wedding?
Yeah. Yes, we did.
Cue the Bob Dylan song.
Maybe this is what you saw, Maddie, at like there's Drunken Shrimp, where it's shrimp served both living and drunk, and it's stunned in a strong liquor called baijiu, and then people usually bite the head off of it first before consuming the body.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
So here's a plate of shrimp that can't say no. Like
pretty much. They're drunk.
Apparently, it also brings a severe risk of paragonimiasis or something like that. So,
there's a reason that most of our ancestors learned to cook things.
Cook your food.
Fire good.
So bear hunting, of course, skinning bears. I'll never forget. Last time we were there, we were skinning a bear, and under the fascia, which is what kind of separates the muscle tissues, I remember seeing, like, I'm not kidding, like a tapeworm or under the skin, and they all have it like so for trichinosis, and that thing was probably this long, and it was super skinny and super white, but like we pulled it out, and it was like, I mean, under the skin, so it was like in the bear, like on the muscle tissue, and they all have them, and it's what gives you trichinosis when you eat bears.
Yeah.
And pigs, I think. Same.
Yeah, if you don't cook it good enough. Yeah. You got to cook that worm.
Oh.
So vegan, you say?
Plant-based, we call it now. We don't. Yeah, vegan. Yeah.
Well, hopefully, if you're still listening and you haven't gotten the urge to go to the bathroom, we applaud you. But thanks for listening, and let us know in the comments. Go to @GetGeekish. Let us know what one of the weirdest things you've ever eaten is, and if it was good.
Tried something on our list.
Yeah, if you've tried it, let us know too. But if there's something that's amazing or sounds like it shouldn't be good that is amazing, maybe we can try it. Or at least one of us will. Look at you, Bugman.
Yeah, Bugman.
Crispy spider.
But thanks for joining us, Maddie. Talking food, always fun. Derek,
thank you for having me.
Good night, and to the rest of you listeners, we'll talk at you next week.